Hi everybody, it's Win. Hey guys, it's Daniel. Hi, it's Kim. Hello everyone, it is Lito. Hello everyone, it's Ed. Hi everybody, it's Kit. And welcome to another video by the Entropy System. Hi everybody, it's Win, and welcome to another video by the Entropy System. It took us a bit to be able to make this video because there was just a lot involved with the recent fusion that we had. A lot of emotions involved, and a lot of fallout involved, and a lot of new learning about what's possible with DID involved. I wanted to talk about why fusions look so different each time they happen, like with us, or, like how some can be big and, the resulting alter has a new name and a new identity, or some of them are so small that it takes us weeks to notice that it even happened. Fusions have been compared to a lot of things, the gem fusions in Steven Universe, or like we did pieces of an orange reconnecting together, but I explained it to a curious friend in a specific way, and he said that it made a lot of sense. So I'm going to present a new analogy for you guys. The way I explained it to him, and the way I'm going to explain it to you guys right now, is that fusion of alters is like mixing paint colors. If you go by, the color wheel, it seems very straightforward. Okay, blue and yellow equals green. Great. But what shade of blue is it? What shade of yellow is it? How pigmented are both of the colors? Are they going to mix equally, or is the blue so rich and deep that the yellow is going to just make it the slightest bit lighter? Paints are diverse, and alters are diverse, and fusions are diverse. When Kit and Mistletoe fused together, we'll say Kit was purple and Mistletoe was yellow. The yellow mixed in with the purple, but it was hard for us to tell. It wasn't until she started doing things that had previously been just fine and felt right for her, and she sort of felt, ooh, maybe this somehow doesn't feel right or normal for me anymore. It'd be like using that same bit of paint on a painting, and suddenly the color coordination isn't quite what it was, and then you realize, oh, there's been yellow mixed in here. When Josh fused with Karen, the pigment was a lot more equal. Karen maintained her name and her overall identity and appearance. She still identifies as Jacob's sister. She's still a little. She aged up by 4 years because of Josh's influence. She also became a lot braver. Her interests changed a lot. In fact, before, she really had no interests at all. She was just scared all the time. So she gained interests and became a little girl who likes dolls and likes to watch cartoons and, has opinions on things. So what makes one alter more pigmented than another? I don't know. This is just an observation that we've been having. I think, I have a hypothesis that it has a lot to do with how defined that alter has become in the outside world, like how much their personality has grown beyond the job they were originally created to fill. And the more that happens, the more pigmented that alter becomes. Again, purely just a hypothesis from observing what happens in my system. A new part of the analogy that really still lines up with paint colors really well, but that we learned firsthand in our most recent fusion is that if alter fuses with this alter over here, their colors mix and it can create something dreadful. And the same alter can then mix with somebody over here, and because of the color balance, this alter is barely affected at all, but the colors are together and they're happily mixed. Let me explain. Lito had been thinking long and hard about, his decision to fuse. Just little kitty cat ears. Her being on my lap is the only thing I could do to keep her from, just fully taking over the camera, so sorry about the ears. His job, so to say, his role was to be someone who didn't exist in this world, who existed from another reality. I was having a really, really hard time coming to terms with being a system. I was becoming desperate. I was becoming unstable. I didn't know, I lost my ability to communicate with people because I was full of so much fear and dread, and I didn't know how to handle my own situation. So Lito was born out of a result of that. Because he was born from my brain's need to escape reality, he never felt okay as a part of this reality. He always felt like he was missing the home that he felt he came from, the people that he remembered loving. And it was really, really hard on him, even as he made connections here, tried to start his own hobbies and reach out and hang out with friends. He was uncomfortable being out. And he decided, since his role was complete, we feel very functional and happy in the reality that we have now, he was ready to fuse. He knew that that would bring him happiness, that would bring the system more stability. So he met with Kim Kim, and since him and Kim Kim are very close, he asked her if he could fuse with her. He said he felt pulled that way, and that is, the step he wanted to take. Kim Kim did not feel comfortable fusing. She really wanted to stay as she was. She didn't want to fundamentally change. She didn't know how fusing with Lito might affect her. Recently we had Dr. Jessica Mann kind of sprinkle fuse a little bit with everybody, and that made Kim Kim specifically very chipper, which was a personality trait she felt uncomfortable with. And Lito was always very positive, and so she worried that he might push her more in that way, and that wasn't something she wanted to become. And Lito respected that, because of course he did. So he talked to Jacob, and Jacob was like, hey, you're a very, very emotional, loving being. Jonathan is a very emotional, loving being. You guys are pretty similar. You should be able to fuse just fine. So we thought. That night, they fused. I woke up the next morning. There was definitely a different energy. The specific thing I remember happening is just hearing laughter. Like, it seemed like joyous laughter. Like, those two happy boys fused together, and oh my God, they're just so happy now. But it was also like there was a discomfort to it, and every time any of us, Kit or Kim Kim or myself, would try to reach back and say, hey, how's new altar friend doing? What's their name? What do they look like? How's their personality? Jacob would be like, you can't be here. You need to go away now. And just there was a wall. We would get major pushback anytime we tried to get close to Jonathan Lito. And the laughter turned to shouting, and then turned to just crying over the next couple days. They were both very emotional people who wanted to spread joy in the world, because they felt so much immense pain. Lito dealt with a lot of loneliness. Jonathan has a lot of shame. He blames himself for a lot of the trauma that we experienced as a child. We hoped that the positive sides of them would both become dominant, and it would be, they'd be happier for it, that they'd be more complete for it. But instead, what happened was the loneliness and the shame and the guilt took over, and he just became this hybrid of too many intense emotions, and the good emotions crumbled away very quickly, and it was just fear. And we started experiencing anxiety like we have not had in years, just crippling, terrifying. It was bad. It was leaking into whoever was fronting at the time. It was taking a toll on the body. We were massively shaking. Our twitching tic came back. It was not good, and we didn't know what to do about it. Before we knew things had gone awry, Kim Kim was already pretty upset regarding the situation, not regarding Lito wanting to fuse. She was fully in support of that, but she felt that people she talked to about it were mourning Lito rather than celebrating with him. And so, she got pretty mad, and she wrote about it on Twitter. She wanted to do a video about it, and I was like, maybe I should do it because I'm more in a neutral position. But there were a lot of people saying please don't go, we relate a lot to you, I don't want you to be gone, we'd prefer you to stay, which the sentiment is very good, and I appreciate that, and I'm glad you guys loved Lito as he was, but it was such a hard choice for him to make. It had the potential to make him feel so much better that hearing a lot of people not understanding that this is a happy thing for him and like asking him not to do it. She was very troubled by that. And I think that the level of upset she had regarding that was just amplified by a level of regret that she didn't fuse with him. And then that regret definitely just went through the roof when the stuff with Jonathan and Lito hybrid just started going wild. We didn't know how we were going to solve the situation. I was trying to talk to Jacob. I was like, hey, you have no emotion. Maybe if you fuse with them. And Jacob was like, no, I need to be present to keep things running. Like, if I go here, then there's no guarantee that that won't make it worse, and then I won't be here to fix it. He's like, I'm going to tear them apart. I didn't know that could happen, but apparently it can. It took 2 days. Was it 2 days? Day and a half? It took a long time. It felt like a long time. But he did. He did. He pulled them apart. And Jonathan kind of just like reappeared as himself, like the him that we know and love. A little tender, like a little emotionally raw, but just same old Jonathan. And Lito didn't like fully form into himself. He kind of like appeared as like a ball of energy and whoop, shot straight into Kim Kim. Not like a conscious choice, but like this is just what was meant to happen. It was like putting two magnets together. And Kim Kim barely changed. This big change that she was afraid of ended up being something that made her feel better about herself. Because really the only thing that changed is Lito's sad emotions or stability or instability, I don't know, negated that chipperness that she got from Jessica Mann that made her feel so uncomfortable with herself. And she kind of re-regulated back to her sarcastic goth self. So she's actually more comfortable with herself now than she was pre-Lito. She's still very, very much Kim Kim. So all those fears that she had ended up, you know, just being something we ended up not needing to worry about, which is good. The system is way more secure now. Like, we all feel great. There's no wild, like, emotional fluxes, at least not out of the ordinary. And, you know, we've reached a point of stability. We still have questions about ourselves. Abigail has not resurfaced in a really long time. We still have not been able to access the forest that's appeared in the headspace. I mean, not that we've really been trying. We figure that anybody there will come forward in their own time, and we are just going to make them know if there's just Abigail or if there's anybody else in the forest, that they are welcome and loved and they can come forward in their own time. We also need to figure out something about the intro, because the way it's timed with the music is perfect. If we take him out, then it loses that perfectness. But obviously we don't want to just leave his part in, since he is no longer like a singular entity in the system. He fused with Kim Kim. So we're going to maybe have Jacob come out and say hi. I don't know how we're going to fix that, but we will fix it eventually once we figure it out. Until then, we're just going to keep it as is. Please don't judge us. We are limited in our time and our amount of creativity. Before we roll credits, thank our patrons, and tell you about the Entitled to Life conference, I want to remind everybody that this is the month of System Pride Day! Woo! Year 2, System Pride Day Year 2, second annual thing, February 23rd. It's gonna be amazing. Please use the hashtag System Pride Day. It shows up, first of all, because that makes it show up on the System Pride Day website. Like, there's a tag tracker that it'll show posts from Instagram and Twitter. Very cool. Obviously not if your account's on private, only if your account's on public, so don't worry about your privacy being invaded. And if you are a system who has some kind of online shop, and you want to have your System Pride merch featured on the System Pride Day website, please leave us a link on Twitter or Instagram so that we can add that there. We want to just a nice little place for people to go and see a bunch of cool stuff they can get made by systems to celebrate System Pride. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions about the fusion. Leave them below. We will try to get to as many as we can. I hope you all have a super great day, and remember, you are loved. You are valuable, and you are valid. Take care. Bye! Before I sign off, I'd like to thank Lily and Elizabeth and all of our patrons for supporting our channel and helping us do what we do on a weekly basis. You guys are awesome, you make these videos possible, you help us create better content every day. Also, I want to remind you guys about the Entitled to Life conference in November in San Francisco, hosted by TWA Magazine. And if you can't attend in person, that's totally okay. You can get an e-ticket and watch the exclusive stream on Zoom. We're super excited to be there, and we can't wait to meet you.